On a cold night in 1968, a series of crimes began that would later become one of the most mysterious murder stories in U.S. history. In Northern California, two teenage boys were found shot dead in their car on a rural road, and there are no leads to the identity of the killer. No one knew that this crime would be the beginning of a long and complicated mystery, instilling terror in the hearts of the residents and baffling the police for years. A few months after the crime, a strange letter arrives at 3 local newspapers signed Zodiac. The message is filled with symbols and riddles, and written in an arrogant style. At first, it seems like a message from someone obsessed with puzzles, but the message includes details about the crime that were not known to the public, confirming that it is indeed from the killer. The killer demands that the newspapers publish the message and the riddles on the front page, otherwise he will kill again. The next day, the message was published, and people began trying to decipher the code. Finally, an amateur manages to decipher it, revealing a mysterious message that says, "I love killing people because it's fun, more enjoyable than killing wild animals in the jungle." This message was the beginning of a terrifying mind game between the killer and the police, which would last for years. In the following years, the Zodiac continued to commit new crimes. His victims were random, which made it impossible for the police to identify any pattern in his choices. Each crime was characterized by cold violence, as if the killer were carrying it out without any emotion. In one of the crimes, the Zodiac attacked a young man and woman who were sitting by a remote lake, forced them to bind themselves, then stabbed them in a gruesome manner before leaving them and moving on. Zodiac would send encrypted messages after each crime, describing the details of the murder and asking the police to catch him. But the messages were filled with talismans and symbols that the police could not decipher. One of the messages included a drawing of the famous Zodiac sign, which later became a symbol of terror, a circle intersected by lines in the shape of a cross, as if a sniper were marking his target. One night, the police department received a phone call from someone claiming to be the Zodiac, informing them of the location of one of the crimes, as if he were playing with them. He said in a calm and frightening voice, "I killed them, and I need more. I want you to make me famous in the newspaper." The police tried to trace the call, but they failed to locate him. This call was just one of the killer's attempts to manipulate the police and make them appear helpless in front of him. Over time, the police became immersed in the details of the case. Despite the presence of dozens of investigators and specialized personnel, they remained unable to find any conclusive evidence. Every time they got close to deciphering one of the codes, Zodiac would send a new one, as if he knew they were tracking him, and grew bolder every time he sensed the frustration he caused them. One night, a young man who was the target of a killer miraculously survived. After being attacked, he managed to escape and reach the police. The survivor described the attacker as a man wearing a black mask, appearing calm and confident, as if he knew that nothing could stop him. And the police realized that they had something priceless, a description of the killer. But the problem is that the survivor couldn't see the killer's face clearly because he was wearing large glasses and a strange mask. The police had hoped that this survivor would be the key to the case, but the Zodiac was smarter than they expected. The killer did not commit any new crimes for a while, leaving the police in a state of confusion, then returned to writing again, with a new message containing puzzles and numbers that they could not easily decipher. With the end of the 1960s and the beginning of the 1970s, Zodiac's crimes became fewer, and his messages also decreased. He sent a final message saying, "I will return someday, when the police are ready to confront me." He seemed like he was playing, like he was enjoying the idea of remaining unknown, and that he would remain free forever. In the decades that followed, investigators attempted to reopen the case several times, using new techniques and DNA analysis, but all attempts failed. Zodiac was always a step ahead. To this day, the Zodiac case remains one of the most complex unsolved mysteries in criminal history, leaving behind numerous questions. Over the years, many theories have emerged regarding the identity of the Zodiac. Some people believe that Zodiac was a well-known figure in the community, while others think he might have been a former investigator or even a man with a military background who managed to conceal his identity skillfully. And there are those who believe that Zodiac never stopped killing, and that he might have been living among people, watching the news, and enjoying seeing the police helpless. These myths and theories continue to add more awe and mystery to the case, and with every new revelation or potential discovery, the name Zodiac returns to the spotlight. stirring both fear and curiosity at the same time. Despite more than 50 years since the beginning of the Zodiac crimes, the case remains a symbol of mystery and intrigue. His name still piques the curiosity of true crime enthusiasts, as if it were an endless puzzle waiting for someone to solve it someday.